right, it's Friday, February 18, and we're starting our 2022 rig build. And this is probably going to span a couple days, so bear with me. But first, we've done some evaluation, put our things in there, see what's going to fit, what's not going to fit, and had to make a couple of adjustments. One thing is with the wider tank in the back of the truck, and this tank will be turning 180 degrees, so my valve winds up on that side. But the width of this tank does not allow anything to overhang the inside of the shelf without hitting the tank. So my electric reels, the motor used to hang in here a little bit, and some of my little plumbing things hung in here a little bit, so there's no room. So consequently my shelf is too narrow and my reels would overhang, so we have to expand that a little bit. And I got these pieces of aluminum from Lance, my good buddy Lance, that built the skid for me a year ago. Made a couple of these for me, cut them to length exactly. I'm going to figure out some kind of end cap here, but we drilled through and tapped them right in there. And I think that's a nice clean look. Looks really good. Steps the shelf out a little bit. The angle of this I think is going to give me a little bit of a guard for my hoses hang down. They won't slap up against my truck as much as they did last year. They really slapped a lot in here and scratched the truck a bit. But again, we got to figure out some kind of cap to go on here. But those are going to be the answer to widening my shelf. And I forget what that gets me exactly now. Something like 18 inches. Let's put a ruler on it real quick. Put a ruler right here. That makes my shelf become 18 1/4 almost, which is perfect. So my electric reels are going to fit right up in here now. And we'll be getting those mounted, if not today, tomorrow. I'll be back with some more video as things progress. All right, that's my driver's side shelf on, and I'm real happy with that. I think that looks really clean, matches the truck nicely, and looks intentional. The word of the day is intentional, right, Mike? So thank you for that. And now I'm thinking about how the tank's gonna go. I gotta get some bracketry in here. I bought these, they're galvanized, they won't rust up, and we're going to do regular ratchet straps over these. I can lag these right in here. Not going to mount them yet today, still thinking about it, thinking about placement. Might do something a little different, but I'm real happy with the shelf extension so far. All right, now it's Saturday and it is 28 degrees out here. I've been out here about as long as I can stand it for a few minutes. I'm gonna have to go in. But I got all 3 reels placed up on here, mocking them up right now. I'm not sure about placement. This is how I had it laid out last year. I think I'm gonna do basically the same thing. I am gonna maximize my space this year and move this reel all the way over. It's gonna be tucked right up against the framework here. I'm coming as far as I can. Then the next reel is gonna literally tuck all the way in here. I'm gonna leave just a very minor gap, maximize my space. I do have room to get in here to do any kind of mechanical things that need to happen. This will be the power washing reel. Flow Pro, etc. is going to go up in here with the downstream injector and the bypass, and I'll be able to have room to access all of that. And then this is the 12-volt reel. This is going to go up in here. I don't think I'm going to do the proportioner box on the back this year. I think I'm going to do it inside somewhere a little different. I had Quinn come out and give me a hand setting this up on here today, just because I needed to be careful. And we're going to lever that up into position here in a minute and start playing around with where the 12 volts going to fit, etc. I got the tank turned. I got my valve on the side. I don't know if you can see that in there. You probably can't see it in there. I got a 90-degree elbow on that, 1-inch connection. We're going to be hooking up some spa hose to that, hopefully a little bit later today. I do want to fill this tank with water today, just so that I can see it expand, get an idea for how that's going to feel. Maybe get some weight in it and take this thing for a ride and get an idea how it's going to feel with all the weight in it. I'm going to lever this into the truck here in just a sec and see how it fits. This is my new GX 690 carbureted from Manatee, okay? We returned the pressure washer to Washmart. It was a little bit different setup with the IGX 700. It had a pressure throttle control in the back here. So as you go off the gun, the machine idles down. As you pull the trigger, the machine idles up. I didn't want that because I'm running the K1, low pressure, all this fun stuff was not what I wanted. So we sent it back. They were good to deal with. And we bought this from Manatee instead. It's got the nice stock Honda muffler, 690 carbureted, all the correct ignition box and everything on the side with the hour meter, oil, everything. It's got the drain on it for the oil. Very happy with this machine. And I'm gonna lever that up in there and see how I like it. All right, and we are relieving the Gen 2 of this base, okay? And all these bolts are extremely corroded because of all of the SH that is involved in this area. You know, there's no avoiding spilling things. And anyway, 2 more bolts, I'll relieve that, and then we'll be left with just this top piece, and we'll see how we're gonna like to fit that up in there. Okay, I've been out here long enough now that I'm nearly frozen, but I've changed my thinking on this a little bit and rearranged my layout slightly. I believe I'm gonna go this direction with the machine, and I'll show you why. Drop this down, perfect fitment right there. Battery and all electronics on this side. 12 volt over here, plumbed around the back. I'm gonna put the proportioner up high. Abby's had enough, she wants to go in. I'm gonna put the proportioner up here. We don't dial this too much, and I really don't like the big clear box that was on the back here last year. So I think I'm gonna mount to the cage. Tank's on this side. But this gives me plenty of room for plumbing and straight shot. My water inlet here will go right there to my tank. My whip line will go right here to my pressure reel. All the plumbing will be there nice. Gives me plenty of room to maneuver around this machine. Just enough room in there. All my controls here in the back. I think I'm liking that arrangement better than turning it 90. It was just hogging up too much space going this other way. I thought I wanted it to go that way, but now I think I want it this way. That looks pretty good. And I put my buyer's box up on the rail. Gas tank is going to go towards the back here. We'll figure out some plumbing with fuel lines, etc. But I think that's the look I'm going for. I like the buyer's box there. It really hides the cage on the big tank. That looks pretty clean. Everything is just sitting there. Nothing is permanently mounted yet. We're still playing, but it's too cold. I gotta go in for a few and we'll come back out and play some more. All right, it's officially snowing out here now. And it's gonna snow for the next couple hours, but I'm gonna continue to play with this for a while. Oh, you got snow on your brand new machine. Oh no. What are we gonna do? Anyway, I'm going to try to get some get these reels mounted up on here and get my buyer's box mounted on the other side so that I can at least go to the store with this truck, because I do need to buy some hoses and plumbing. Everything else can kind of just float in there for now, but I do got to get that box bolted down and the reels bolted down, so I'm going to work on that right now. We got the Powerful Improvements coffee tumbler with a nice smoking hot tea in it. Keep me warm out here. I got my little ceramic heater going out here, just give me a little bit of warmth. Okay, that's all bolted in. I went straight through, right into the aluminum rails out here. That's how I want it to be. Not afraid to make a few holes. Use it up. All right, we got the vise back in place. I had this thing 35 years. She's a beauty. Okay, I'm over here mounting up the reels, and I've pre-drilled all the appropriate holes for the new placement, and I got all new hardware for this year. I went all stainless with these lag screws. I got little washers and little lock washers on there. That's gonna be a nice little setup. I got this one mounted already, and it's not going anywhere. So here we go. I'm going to get the power wash reel on next. Okay, I got all 3 reels mounted on there successfully with all stainless hardware. Sweet. Ready to go. Rugged. I pulled as hard as I could on all 3 of them and they're not coming off. So that's good mounting right there, okay? Evie and I are going to take a break. We're going over to the agricultural store to get some hose to think about plumbing this machine in, okay? But this is basically the layout I'm going to go with this year. We're going to find some better brackets to mount the fuel tank with than the ones I showed you yesterday. I'm not going to use those. I'm going to use something different. And I'm going to see if we can find some nice straps and basically go warm up for a while. And that's going to be it for today. But I'll show you some of the supply they have at the ag store. All right, guys, so this is our local agriculture store, one of them, called Runnings. They have all sorts of different stuff here, farm equipment, outside sprayer equipment, pesticide stuff, Fimco, this and that, whatever. They have a whole bunch of pumps, Delvin pumps, little pumps, big pumps, and they have the Fat Boy, 7 gallon per minute Fat Boy at $249. They've got this 5500 5.3 60 psi Remco for $139. I'm picking one of those up. I moved away from the Fat Boy last year. I don't need the 7 gallons per minute. I'm running all half-inch everything, so not really doing that pump justice. I think I'm gonna buy one of these as a backup. That'd be nice to have for $139. We'll be adding that to the bucket today. Take this one. That one's mine. All right, and then we've got all this banjo stuff, all sorts of plumbing, valving. Nothing 3-way though. It's all just shut-off valves and whatnot. But all the nipples and everything that bends that I need, all sorts of little fittings, all sorts of hose clamps, hoses on reels, so I can get my spa hose right in here in a minute, all the length that I need. And I'm gonna make a little pile, starting with this bad boy. All right, good morning. It is Sunday and it is about 15 degrees, 8 o'clock in the morning. And we got a lot to do today, so we're gonna get started. I went to the ag store yesterday and got a few things. I'll show you what we got. This is going to be the suction hose that I bought. This stuff's pretty nice. It's softer on the inside and hard on the outside. And this stuff is seriously crush proof. I tried everything I could to crush this and it's not going to crush. That's a nice hose, easily cuttable. I got 12 feet of that. We're gonna be using that to plumb the power washer today. I bought some nice new black ratchet straps. I bought 2 packs of these, and these are gonna be what I'm using to strap my tank down. Okay, we got this extra pump, which we're not doing anything with today, and some other miscellaneous parts, which I'll show you. We got these brackets to attach the tank. We got a hacksaw for Patrick. We got some 10 gauge wire. I used 10 gauge last year to wire all my reels. I got some shrink proof connectors, or not shrink proof, but heat shrink connectors. I bought an extra switch for a reel. I do have another extra one in my box, but now I have 2. These are junk, but they get you by. I bought some extra banjo fittings. I bought an on and off valve, and this is going to be for my tank dump, which I'm going to show you how I'm going to plumb that if we get to that today, and a couple of the little fittings that I needed. It adds up quick. Okay, so today, first order of business is to get that tank mounted. Okay, we pre-drilled all of our holes, and we got the same stainless hardware setup that we used on the reels on the other side. This is gonna have some weight to it, so we wanna make sure they're on there pretty good. It's gonna go just like that. Lag screw in, ratchet wrench down, and here we go. All right, that's all on. Real happy with that. Crazy rugged. It's not going anywhere. Very rugged setup. Probably gonna go into some type of stainless tank at some point, maybe through the summer, I don't know. Maybe we'll get the year out of this one, I don't know. At some point we're gonna upgrade the tank. Just didn't want to spend all the money this year. Also, this is going to work for my boat. If we need to upgrade the stainless tank, we'll be able to transfer this to the boat up in Maine and have a nice big tank there. I'm gonna run a nipple off of here, and I'm gonna go around the bottom here, along the cage on the bottom where it won't get pinched. And then I'm gonna bring the fuel line up over here to come over to the power washer. I'm not gonna run it directly through here. All my electronics are gonna be here. I just don't want to be knocking into it. So we're gonna try to go like this, snake it down around the tanks, come up over to here, and we'll develop that over the next couple days. Oh yeah, got some nice flow coming out of there. Nice and tight. Working on my wiring. Tank's only filled up to about that first bar there. Taking quite a while. We're gonna let it fill all the way up. Obviously, I'm gonna turn this off, but happy with that. That should be plenty of flow for my machine. Okay, I got 2 of the reels wired. One, I have a solenoid that is so corroded it's not gonna work. But I got my breaker box right there. You push the button, the little reset comes down, back up, you're engaged. Okay, so I got power there live right to the battery. I got the battery grounded to the frame. That worked really well for me last year. A battery box, unfortunately, does not fit in this space. So I'm not gonna be able to put this in a battery box. Didn't have it in one last year, and I'll just be careful, okay? I ran my wiring up on the rail, up underneath there, so it's cleaner, so it's not all up in here. I drilled holes for the positive to come up, okay? And we went all the way over to this one, and we've got power, see? Jumped it right through there. Not bad. That battery's been sitting since fall. I haven't done anything to it. And this one is good to go. Okay? Careful with that one because there's a gun still on it. But this one here, I think I'm gonna have to order a new solenoid. I couldn't get that nut off, and it's very corroded. This is my power washing reel. So I had SH blow off of here a few times last year. I've been trying to hang on to that post, oiling it, get that to move, but that does not want to move. So I think I'm just going to order a solenoid and move forward, okay? And we're about to get that one wired real quick. I'm going to run the pigtail for it real quick that comes up over to my battery, so we'll be good to go when the time comes. All right, I've been out test riding the truck all day with my full tank of water. My machine turned, not bolted, didn't move, didn't budge. I was on the highway, all sorts of bumping around back roads. My suspension has hardly moved. Not squatting at all. Loving it. I went and bought some of that corrugated tube with the perforations in it for drainage. And I'm going to snake that into my tank now to act as a baffle. Okay, this tank was full, so not too much sloshing, but when it's half full, my understanding is that it's gonna slosh quite a bit, and I'm gonna try to mitigate that a little bit by putting that tube in there. Hopefully we can get it done. I saw that as a tip from Jason Guyman. He made a video several years ago about how to create baffles in an IBC tote, and that's one way to do it. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna drain this tank. I'm gonna time it. I wanna see how long it takes to drain this whole tank, and then I'm gonna try to stick that baffle in there. All right, so I hit the stopwatch on my phone. I got this nice 1-inch drain. This nice banjo that I bought. Plenty of flow. I set a stopwatch and we'll see how long it takes. I'm sure some of y'all thought I wasn't gonna get that whole hose in there. And it's nearly all in there. To my surprise. That's 100 feet of hose in there. Check it out. That's gonna be a nice baffle. It's not gonna move around too much. It's in there wedged very good. You see it's got these perforations in it, so it will bleed the water down through. And it really shouldn't displace that much water. I bet it's gonna displace less than 10 gallons of water in the tank, so my capacity is not gonna suffer at all. But that's gonna stop the slosh with the half tank. Love it. Next is install the Hudson float valve, and that's gonna go right up in here. I'm gonna be stealing it off of that middle tank over there and see if we can get that done today too. Still draining. I'm gonna empty it all the way. Hear it? It's nearly done. We're gonna call it done. I'm gonna check the timer, let you know how long that took. Yes, then you'll be happy to know that I've brought the proportioner down here. I'm gonna mount it somewhere in this range, something like that, on my plumbing logo, right up to these tanks, real easy. Access in the back to all these banjos. Access to the front. If anything goes wrong, I can easily disconnect the pump, wiring, etc. I'm just gonna ground this out to the frame of the truck, run a little jumper over to my circuit breaker up in there, and we'll be good to go. That's looking like that's gonna be the final layout. Something like that.